Worthless feelings are running rampant in the church, and the person struggling with this is not always the person you think. When you think of someone who struggles with worthlessness, you might conjure up in your mind a person who dresses in kind of a disheveled manner, or may act like the lone wolf, avoiding people and isolated. Although that can be an issue for that person, I have, in the last 35 years of counseling, seen all kinds of people who, once they get under the hood a little bit, because the counselor get under the hood, they struggle with worthless feelings. And I literally have had beauty contest winners from their state in my office who felt worthless and even struggled with body image issues and feeling unattractive. I've had women who, by all standards of beauty, success, and outward measures, you would never suspect struggle secretly with not feeling good enough. Women are not the only ones who struggle. I've had fit, attractive, successful men who also struggle deeply with feelings of worthlessness. I've even had pastors and spiritual leaders from all over the country struggle with these very strong feelings of not being enough or worthlessness. So this is an issue that doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter what someone looks like, okay? It doesn't matter how successful they are. They might be a mega millionaire and still feel these feelings. It doesn't matter how spiritual they are. They might have any title and still secretly struggle. This feeling of worthlessness or not good enough can penetrate anyone's heart. So if this is you or someone that you love, you are definitely not alone. And today we're going to give you some tools to minister to that person, or maybe even minister to yourself. You see, there are many paths to the feelings of worthlessness, because you're probably asking, well, how does someone get this way? How does someone who looks like they have it all together be worthless? Well, there's many paths. As a child, a person could have experienced neglect or abuse, and both are painful if they happened in the home or even from other people. Abuse and neglect can have the same impact on the soul, okay? They could have experienced some form of trauma or sexual abuse, which is a huge factor in someone feeling worthless. Regardless of what kind of trauma it is, it can make them question their safety, their value. If it's sexual abuse, it can definitely affect how worth they feel, because someone used them as if they were worth nothing. And this is huge. They might have made some bad choices, okay? And some of us are guilty of that for sure. And they feel bad about that. And many of us, before coming to Christ or even after Christ, we have some moments that we're not proud of. And that can internalize to worthless feelings. Or they could be struggling with an addiction or a compulsion that they're hiding from everyone. And they secretly have this thing going on that if you really knew me, you wouldn't love me, because I know what I'm really doing. And I hear those voices and I feel worthless because I'm doing it. There are many paths to feelings of worthless, but the majority of these adults did not get praise or affirmation from their earthly fathers. I'm talking about the ones who sat in my office for the last 35 years. And I asked them, we go through a series of questions, and very commonly, this lack of the father's voice, oftentimes called the father wound, leaves a child, whether it's male or female, questioning their value, and can lead to the feelings of less than or worthlessness. And this is so huge and so prevalent. Fathers weren't trained necessarily to be fathers for generations, and they don't know that they possess a special gift from God to give identity. So before we go any further today, I want to spend a moment talking to the fathers. Your voice of affirmation towards your sons and daughters is so very important. I have a DVD on my website called Men Make Men, and I talk about how God has given both the gift and the responsibility to men to give identity to all those around them, but especially their children and their spouse. Adam's first job was to give identity to all animals. So when Eve came, it was his reflex to give her identity and to give her a name. And dare I say, it's never too late. Even if your son or daughter is 50 or 60 and they never heard you say, I love you, I'm proud of you, I'm so glad you're my son or daughter, call them, and I mean call them today, even now, and tell them and keep telling them that they are precious to you, that you love them, that they have gifts, that they're powerful people. Children need their father's voice And it does amazing things for their soul when they get this. Now, I remember, when my son was growing up and playing basketball, if he made a basket, the first person he looked at was his dad, not his mom. Our children need their dad's praise. Mom's okay if you do this as well, of course, and you probably will and do. But when dad does it, it enters a place unique in their heart that only a dad can fill. Additionally, men, nurture your friends. Tell them they're doing great. Nurture employees or coworkers, okay? Nurture other men at church. It is a gift that God has given to men to be those influencers, to be that place where people look for a good job, well done, you're amazing, you're smart, you're capable, okay? And it's just good to present this kind of attitude, men, to your families. Really go overboard. Write your son or daughter a note. Send them a text. Hey, thinking about you, love you, proud of you, so glad you're my son, so glad you're my daughter. Okay, kids need this of all ages, okay? And men, even in a situation in church, if you see some young men who don't have dads, jump in and say, man, you know what, I'm proud of you. You don't got a dad, and here you are serving the Lord, and here you are showing up. Here you are trying to raise kids. Man, how can I support you? You're doing amazing. And get in there and nurture those guys, okay? Because oftentimes they're going in life with no affirmation. So be that voice. Men, I'm really talking to you, and ladies, share this show with your people that you love, okay? Because I need to hear it from a man that this is your job, it's your responsibility, and if you fail, your children pay the price for your failure. You don't. Your children pay the price. So don't let that happen on your shift. Be that man of God who gives life to their children.
For more content and resources to help in your healing journey with Christ, make sure to follow Dr. Doug Weiss on Facebook and Instagram. If you'd like to share full episodes of this show with friends and family, subscribe to Healing Time Ministries on YouTube, and feel free to leave us a comment on any of Dr. Doug's social media platforms. Our team would love to hear your feedback and learn how Healing Time is impacting your life, your church, and your ministry.